3, 2, 1. Here we are. Okay. This is The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and compelling stories in a fictional world that we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more. You can find out more about the collective, as well as the stories we're telling, at thestarfallcollective.com.
Some of us has a bit more decorum than others.
We are back with episode 5. Let's find out who's in the episode. I'm Sir Robert Burbridge, a father and entrepreneur, and am the host of this season's story. With me tonight are a few of my friends playing the characters in this drama. Please, when I call on you, say your name, something about yourself if you like, and a brief description of the character you're playing. For example, name, class, and if you want hair color or nose size or something. Why don't we start with you, Matt? I'm just going to go down.
Hi, my name is Matthew. Wait, should I introduce myself?
Sure, the way you normally do.
Okay. Yeah, okay. My name is Matthew Talamini. I am a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island. You can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, Talamini.com. I play Diamondback, a human shirtless wizard.
And dropping down on your screen, we have Jared.
I'm Jared. I'm playing Yoshka, a gypsy-ish, kind of big, thick bard.
Great. And to Jared's left is Dwight as Belvari.
Hi, I am Dwight. Oh, Belvari is a human druid.
Okay, and below that is Aaron.
Aaron Joy. I'm playing Davina, and she's 22 human would-be architect.
Great. And then finally we have Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh. I am playing Sleen, the knockout, gorgeous, charismatic, nature-loving tiefling who goes around wearing a alligator skin leather jacket and entertaining people wherever she goes. You can find my stuff all over the internet. Just look for me. You'll find me. It's easy.
Great.
Bigfoot.
That's right.
Yes, look up my interview on
Interview with
Sasquatch. Yeah, on anyway, yeah, look at my interview on Bigfoot Society podcast.
Sounds good. So let's get started. Previously, we ended the last episode with Diamondback and Sleen had come to a town. They had a tough time getting there, finally managed to get there with their lives. They've come to the town, and in order to get in, they had to explain why they were there. They offered the idea that they were trading components. This is a trading town. It's well fortified. It's got a stockade surrounding the entire town, keeping it safe. There was a little halfling who was the gate guard, who for a small bribe let them in. Let me give that. There we go. Sleen offered a copper piece, which he took, and Diamondback offered a spell component, a magic component, wrapped in some little piece of paper with some kind of writing on it. He directed them to Babarel's, the little pub in town where the woman lives above the pub and serves guests below. Sleen had also asked, is there a place nearby where I could do some performing, maybe for some busking or something like that? And the little halfling recommended that Babarel's is where to go for that as well, because that is where Yoshka, a wandering wayfarer, has set up and has been entertaining the troops, metaphorically, entertaining the people for a week or so. Yoshka is, when we left, Yoshka was performing. They burst into the room, and I guess actually Diamondback slinked into the room, slithered maybe, and Sleen and Yoshka tried doing, let's call it, an impromptu miniature duet, where Sleen maybe flubbed her lines a little bit. Yoshka good-naturedly rescued that, and the crowd was pleased. We pick up here with them just meeting. So either Sleen or Yoshka, go for it.
Now, sit down, lady. I'm one of the few people, sober people left in here. I put down my accordion, and I say, let me buy you a drink. You won't fit in here. What? Did you come on in here with someone else?
Oh, I would love to have a drink with you. Just let me settle up with the person up front. And she's slinging around this huge, like 40-pound sack of fresh horse meat. And so she boom, drops the big old sack of fresh horse meat on there and says, this was butchered freshly, but is not going to remain fresh in my hands. And I certainly can't put away this much. Is there any chance we could possibly negotiate a bit of room and board for this?
To Babarel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Babarel is over behind the kind of bar area tending to a few people, and when she sees you thump down that satchel sort of thing, she bustles over. She is a hardy woman, a rotund woman who's not quite elderly. You know, she's maybe on the older side. And she kind of hurries over, wipes her hands on her apron, and says, horse meat. Haven't had that in a while. Let's go, let's see what you got. And she flips open the bag. And you basically see her start to kind of flip through, and she says, oh, there's some good meat I could buy here. And you can tell that she's going to be at least a few minutes just kind of weighing it out and maybe seeing what cuts there are. Plenty of time for her to do that while you continue talking with Yoshka.
Yep. So Sleen turns to Yoshka and hands Yoshka this beautiful cut of horse steak on like a leaf or something, and places it just like the bloody raw meat on a leaf in Yoshka's hands. I don't know if Yoshka's a vegan or something, but and says, now, where were we about that drink?
Well, thank you. Bavarel, how does my tab look?
Oh, you're doing fine. You're doing fine, Yoshki.
Do I have enough for this beautiful lady?
Sure. Make sure we settle up at the end of the night.
All right. And what was my playing per night?
What'd you say?
What were you going to paying per night?
Oh, the standard we talked about. You're not going to get me talking in front of customers. You know what
I was just going to say. Is he trying to show off how much he makes a night playing musical instruments?
Well, bring her a drink on my tab. Now, come sit down. Tell me about yourself. You don't look like you're around here.
No, I'm not. I'm from the bayou. We've been traveling a bit, and I heard that there was some decent trading in the area. Tell me, what brings you to this lovely town?
Sleen takes off, Yoshka has like one of those furry hats with the ear flaps. He takes it off and puts it down and sits down at the table with you and said, "Oh, I'm a poor lost boy."
And she looks up at him, pretty
but
tall
not
for
too
a boy.
tasty. But not too tasty for alligators, thanks be.
How is Yoshka
Looking
a
to get
human?
back north. Yeah,
Is Yoshka a human?
Yoshka's,
Okay, all right.
Yoshka's a human, and you
Okay.
can tell by his clothes, they're more like they're not fitting the current climate. They're more like
Okay.
winterish clothes.
Wait, get back north. You're not from around here?
No, taken by some alligators, I'm afraid.
I haven't known alligators to drag down things from the north, but I'll be sure to watch out for those northern alligators. And she kind of gives him a little bit of a wink.
And at that point,
I've been-
you are not joined, but a young man walks up to the table, has a wooden carved stein, basically, for each of you, and takes away yours, Yoshka, and puts a new one in front of you with some kind of ale or beer or something in it, and also one in front of Sleen, and glances upwards towards Diamondback, because he saw Diamondback hanging out in the shadows, and kind of lifts an eyebrow, but doesn't bring him a drink or anything. And
Well, can Diamondback attempt this move where when the server puts down the drinks and turns to go away, the two sitting at the table see Diamondback was behind him the whole time, and now Diamondback is standing there.
I will let you do that. What I'm going to ask of you for that is I want a DC 15 stealth.
Here it comes. That is going to be 6 plus 3 is 9.
Diamondback super stealthily walks up, kind of visibly slinking like you see in cartoons. And you see him back to back with the server, but he's clearly, not quite lined up. And Yoshka and Celine can see him behind the server. And as the server kind of just is like, all right. And as he leaves, Diamondback, now his back is to the table with those diamonds down his back, kind of flexing a little. And he does a dramatic turn.
I do a dramatic turn. And you can, my arms are folded, and I look down at Yoshka and I say, "Nice to meet you, sir."
Nice to meet you too. Look at that.
Yoshka, this is my enigmatic and surprising travel companion, Diamondback Jack.
Just Diamondback will do, please. Thank you.
I like to call him Jack. He seems like a Jack to me, and she kind of pinches his cheek a little bit and pats it.
He reddens in genuine embarrassment.
I start to take off my fur vest and then hand it to him and say, "Please, I have an extra."
Oh.
Diamondback looks at it like he doesn't know what it's for.
Oh, are you from the South?
Whoa.
Yoshka's dressed in fur, really cold weather gear, right?
I'm from close by. Looks like you're the one who's not from around here.
It's true. Well, come, sit down. What brings you here?
I'm afraid me and this young lady have, in a manner of speaking, joined forces to effect what you would call our mutual survival.
Very good. It's lucky to find a friend these days.
I thought so.
Yeah, she kind of looks at the two of them like, this is getting really somber. And she says, "Now come, we must find a way. You and
Diamondback breaks in. We almost died at the hands of some orcs.
Oh my God.
It was a bloody day indeed yesterday.
She starts rubbing her hand on her forehead.
I myself almost died several times in one day.
I don't think...
But for Celine here, I would certainly have been destroyed entirely.
Right, there's the part of the story where it suddenly goes careening off the rails of heroic and impressive into pitiable. I'm not sure why you kept going. You could have stopped the story any time. No one knew the ending.
This is... I suppose you have... Go on.
Now, what my muscly friend here was trying to say, and she starts lifting up his hands and making little flex motions for him, and then she starts twirling his hands around in little circles, show him the thing. Between my friend's speed of hand, my presence upon the street and showmanship, and your musical abilities, why, I'd say we stand to bring some real happiness to the faces and some real lightness to the pockets of the good people of this town and many others. What do you say? I heard a roll. Is Diamondback rolling to perform martial arts or something?
I don't know.
What you see is Diamondback looking just as you move his hands around for him. He looks incredibly bewildered and ashamed. He utterly failed a role to play along and be cool about it. And he looks like he's sort of, after a minute, he like snatches his arms back and then he sort of sits there with his elbows like exactly against the sides of his torso and his hands folded in his lap, just like looking.
Aw, Celine
Poor
done broke
sweetie.
him.
At that moment, Babarel comes back to the table, and she has a couple of coins in her hand, and she tells and she says to Celine, "Well, that meat's fresh indeed. I'll take it. I'll take the whole lot of it. I'll give you 2 copper for it."
Can Celine make a diplomacy check to try to get a better deal, like possibly get her to throw in some
I think you might be
meals?
thinking of an insight check, but
Sure.
I would be cool with
You
an
might be
insight
thinking
check.
of a persuasion check.
Persuasion, that's it.
Well,
Persuasion.
it depends. Insight, if you want to try to figure out if she's willing to go higher. Persuasion, if
Yeah.
you don't really care about that, you just want to try to persuade her. Tell me which
I'll
one you
start
want
with
to make.
insight. I'd like to know whether or not 20.
Okay. Yeah, she's lowballing you.
Okay, yeah. Celine says, "Oh, my, Barbarelle." And she kind of stands up and begins walking with Barbarelle kind of away from everyone else so they can do business in private. "I'm sure the 2 copper is a lovely contribution towards the cash value of it, but in addition to the overall value, in order to bring us up to the overall value, let's say you throw in some room and board and we'll call it even."
Well, I can't throw in room and board. I don't board here, but right across the street, Yoshka can show you where it is. You can find it over there. But I'll tell you what I can do. I got a couple of magics I could give you. Magics being the colloquial slang for components.
Yep.
Got a couple of magics I could throw in. Give you the 2 copper plus maybe a handful of small magics.
That would be fair.
Okay.
Excellent. And then do we need to make any other rolls to see how the rest of that transaction goes, or can we just hand wave and you'll settle it?
I'm okay with, we can settle it up when there's a good time for it.
Okay.
I will just add them to your component pouch, but add to your own D&D Beyond 2 copper.
Okay.
And I'll add some to your component pouch, and I'll separate them so you can see which ones they are. I'll put like from Babarel.
Okay.
Sounds good. You could possibly negotiate for which ones there are, but that you might not know what she's offering you, so it would be probably better just to accept the components.
Yeah.
It's good form to say if she's giving you like say 8 components, which is what she's going to give you. If you feel like 8's a reasonable number as opposed to like 50 or 2.
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good. So that's kind of the etiquette, guys, just to let you all know. So Babarel returns to the table, and she says to Yoshka and Diamondback, as Celine returns to her seat, "You young kids, I'm glad to see y'all getting along well. Yoshka, you're all done for the night." And she also slips you a little piece of folded paper, which is normally how she pays you, with 2 copper coins in it as well, Yoshka. And she says, "This settles us up. I already settled up the tab plus your pay for the past couple of days. This settles us up at what we agreed on." And basically, she starts to walk away, but she's given you the general instruction. When you're ready, you show them over to Degro's. So Degro is the name of the inn there. You show them over to Degro's house. He's got some extra rooms. I'm sure these 2 fine young men, this fine young gentleman and lady can find something over there. And
Thank you, Mother.
Yoshka, you know that Degro's place is just a little bit down the street on the left, across the street. It's the place where you've been staying.
Okay. Great. Well, please stay with me if you can't get a room, but let's head over to Degro's after dinner and
I think she pulls one of those little I have always depended upon the kindness of strangers kind of things, but little more tough, not quite so, gilded lily, whatever. And so she's like, well, that wouldn't that just be swell of you? And she kind of places an arm on his shoulder, not in an overly familiar way, but kind of in a, mock formal way, and kind of pals it over with Yoshika.
Now tell me again. I don't think I heard you straight when, with all the yelling and cheering. What brings you here?
Oh, things in the forest that are worth money, being out of the forest where all of those things aren't trying to kill us, just trying to find a good place to lay our head while we're running around, apparently stripping the jungle of all of its magical resources. She kind of indicates over to Diamondback and says, my friend here has a very avid interest in collecting everything of use from the jungles.
Diamondback doesn't notice. He is looking through his pouch and sort of shuffling and organizing his spell components.
But he's a good man. We both ended up running into each other when neither of us really had the upper hand of the situation. And, well, once you've both had your necks strung out with each other, I suppose there's a certain amount of trust that comes with it.
And Diamondback and Sleen, please each of you roll an insight check for me.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. 18 plus 4, 22.
Okay. 10 plus 2, 12.
Diamondback, you pick up in the conversation that Yoshika is in this town, but he might be itching to leave. You can tell he's already said something about, trying to get back north and he's trying to do his thing, but you get the impression that he might be ready sometime soon. It would be a good point to start up, to take the conversation down that path if you want to. That's what you intuit.
I look up from my spell components and I look over at Sleen and Yoshika, and then I say to Yoshika, I think what Sleen is trying to say is that the two of us are at what you might call odds and ends, if you know that expression.
We still are, even if you don't know the expression, but it's much more helpful to the conversation if you do. I'm sorry.
We haven't got homes right now. And if you have a home, something like that would be a grand destination for the two of us.
Well, you sound like my kind of people. Been here quite a while. And I am looking to get back north, but don't know if I will, but if you're willing, let's travel a bit together.
Excellent. I would redouble my point that I think you and I, and she points to Yoshika, could do a pretty good business of entertaining folks in towns where we do show up. And I can't imagine how it would hurt to have a man of Diamondback's physique and abilities.
Certainly. What do you play?
And she kind of looks a little sheepish. And she says, why don't I just kind of show you? And she pops up her collar, and you see her kind of reach into a pocket and clap her hands together. And you see her kind of immediately work her hair up into this bright red mohawk with this kind of red sticky clay stuff. And she produces a pretty sizable snake out of her jacket. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And she starts to kind of do a little, somewhere between Dog the Bounty Hunter and Steve Irwin and Jack Hanna on a talk show demoing an animal. She's real excited and exuberant about him, but has a real tough lady kind of persona. but is also just genuinely exuberant about the animal. Yes! I tried to do a performance check for this, and I rolled a 20, plus my performance check bonus is a +4, so that's 24.
You narrate what you think. What Sleen would have imagined to be just an excellent performance, and that'll be what it is.
Yep, I think as we're walking across or down the aisle, alley, whatever, greenway, like there's a kid nearby, and so she ropes the kid into this, showing off the snake thing, and she like makes the snake go across the kid's shoulders and gets him perfectly scared, but perfectly, still hanging in there and not falling to pieces, so they feel real brave afterwards. And she pretends like the snake has bitten her and like it's no big deal, and she takes it off and gives it a kiss, and it's like top tier performance.
Josh, I have a question.
Sure.
In your performance, are you taking on the role of somebody who's like a strong, competent warrior, or like naturalist, or like an expert?
Yeah, probably more the naturalist expert. She's not trying to pass herself off as somebody who could, kick anybody else's tail, but she wears the leather jacket and has the mohawk and stuff to try to add to the toughness of her persona.
Do you see Diamondback's mouth is kind of hanging open as he watches you? He does not realize that this is a show at all. He thinks that everything that's happening is 100% genuine.
You're gonna break Aaron's heart before the end of the night.
Sweetie.
I decided that I would just do a private little insight check to see what Diamondback thought about this performance, and whether and he rolled a 1 to realize that this is partly fake.
Make my eyes rain. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Truly, I have fallen in with most reliable experts in the ways of nature.
Wow. Yeah. Well, she probably doesn't say anything incorrect or wrong about the snake. She does this for a living. Anyway, but yeah, that's awesome. That's great. It's always feels
This
good
is like
when you're
somebody
connects with the audience.
Somebody who doesn't realize that Steve Irwin is like a zookeeper and thinks he's just like a completely tough wild man who knows everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She probably fibs at some point and says that this is like the most venomous snake in the world, and I guess you probably
Bought it.
Just adds to the mystique. Anyway, it's a constrictor. It's not venomous at all. So yeah, so she kind of shows Yoshka that, and she says, "So you've seen the act. I'd be curious to know after a day or two whether any inspiration comes to you, and you can think of some sort of appropriate way to combine my physical show with your musical."
Very good, very good. At least we could take turns.
So apparently last season we tried to get an airship. This one we're trying to start a zoo in the middle of the forest. So, yeah.
Sleen, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What act? What show are you talking about?
Oh, all of that? Everything that I just did? Like, are you kidding me right now with I just explained it to him? She's doing the David Duchovny thing. Like, really? You don't understand that I just explained all of it? She says, I handle snakes and alligators and dangerous animals, and I do so in a way that brings information and an element of danger and ultimately entertains the crowd. Right? And she's like, "You're a smart guy. Did that horse kick you higher as well?" I didn't. And she's looking like all over his face for a hoof mark on his head to see if he got kicked in the head.
Wait. I was under the impression that you are a master ranger or hunter, expert of exterminator or of animals. But do you mean to tell me that, in fact, I've fallen in with clowns?
No. I'm all of those things outside of town and inside town when there's no actual gators to wrestle, and I'm still hungry and don't want to starve to death. I do put on a little bit of and then she kind of pulls her hand out of the pocket with the stuff that she makeup. Yes, so there's nothing wrong with being a little silly every now and then. And she, starts doing a weird little dance on her little hoofed legs. It says, "Loosen up, Diamondback. We're all going to die soon anyway."
He does not loosen up.
She does not do that.
He says, "I understand this ridiculous one." No, I'm sorry, sir. Not ridiculous. You're a minstrel, a clown, and entertainer. But you, who I've seen in battle and has saved my life, to have been saved by a... And he falls quiet.
I think she stops for a second with her hand on the doorknob, and she says, "Clown?" And she turns and she flips up her leather jacket collar and flexes and pulls the snake out and holds it out in front of him. And I guess she's going to try to make an intimidation check because it just suddenly rubbed her wrong under the saddle that you called it a clown. So I don't know how good of an intimidation this will be. That's a 12 plus 4 is 16.
Our DM should decide what I should have to roll to resist this.
I think I have your thing here. Diamondback. There we go. I think a wisdom check. Just straight wisdom.
Straight wisdom. 12. So I think he jumps. You scare him. You get him.
You initiated.
He gets got.
Pretty scary clown. And she does a little snake, thing through her super crazy sharp pointed teeth, and she smiles at him. She's just teasing. I mean, she's not turning the screws or trying to traumatize you. She's just
Sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm taking stock of anything relevant to tell them about. Let me get my sticky note. Degro, since I've been staying there for 10 days.
Great.
Just in case he's really grumpy at night or...
Yeah. And y'all are about to walk out the door, right? Yeah, your Celine's hand is on the door now.
Oh,
we're about to walk.
This was happening while we
Okay.
were walking along the street towards the inn. I
Okay,
think.
so you're right about there. You hear a bit of chaos. So let me set the stage for you so you can understand the layout here. So you were in Babarel's. If you remember, that was about 8 houses down from the main gate.
Yep.
So there's the main gate.
Now, I thought you said 6, but 8.
Might have been 6.
What do I know? What do I know?
Sure.
What do I...
But it was down this kind of more or less like a main street. And if you like, you could think of it as what you would see, the size of the town and everything, as what you would see in a Western where there's this main street, maybe some houses behind it. But this is where all the trading happens and the hub of stuff. So it's also where Babarel's Inn is underneath her living quarters upstairs. It's also where Degro's, Babarel's pub, which is underneath her living quarters, and Degro's little inn, which is really just his house, but he has a bunch of rooms on the bottom where people stay. So y'all have walked across the street and about 2 buildings closer to the gate. Behind you now, away from the gate, there's another 8 or so buildings before a gap of about 20 feet and the outside wall behind you, right? So there's a ring around the town, inside the town that's about 20 feet wide, which horses could go by or whatever. That means you're approximately 2/3 of the way towards the gate, and the road goes straight towards the gate and then straight behind you. There's no turn in it. You hear a little bit of chaos, some tumult down towards the gate, and it's close enough. It's probably 100 feet away, not too far. But you start hearing this kind of how to describe it? A sort of turbulent, not quite shouting, but ruckus. Right?
How dark is it?
It is about 2 hours ish before the night. So they got here afternoon, and y'all have been doing stuff for an hour or two in the pub. So you've got about 2 hours till nightfall. But you hear that chaos, and you look down towards the gate, and you see a group of men. You can't tell; it's they're a little bit far away, and a halfling. And the halfling is kind of hopping and pointing excitedly down the road, and you hear a slightly booming voice say, "Flibbert, Flibbert! Who was it?" Now the halfling, who you pick up, his name is Flibbert. They're all sort of now running down the street, not running, but like jogging hastily down the street. They stop about 60 feet from you, and the halfling who let you into the gates of the city points a finger directly at Sleen and says, "There's the one. That's the one. That young man that she's with gave me a component what was wrapped in paper covered with ciphers." The men that he is with, four men. Two of them look like they are half orcs, probably some kind of mixture of orc, and two humans, and are dressed in what probably is a uniform, clearly, some kind of guard or something. And Flibbert again says, "She brought him here. She told me herself. She said, 'I'm here to meet my friend who's a performer.' That's him right there, that young man what's been here. He's got writing all over his componentry, his magics, and they come to bring the bell and bring our town down." The guards get angry and say, "Halt! Don't move!" and take a few steps towards you.
Gotcha.
Diamondback.
Go ahead.
Diamondback.
Should we roll
turns to
initiative?
Sleen and says,
Not yet.
"Better we find out the character of this town now than later."
Indeed. And I think whenever we're ready to roll initiative, Sleen knows how she's going to react.
Okay. The one of the guards who possibly is in charge says, basically looks straight at Sleen and says, "Is this true? Did y'all bring ciphers and writing into our town?" And Flibbert, before waiting for an answer, says, "Oh, it's true, that Tifa demon. She bought that young man with his writings and ciphers. They're here to kill us all, bring the bell on us." And the orc kind of hushes him and keeps a straight gaze at you, the half-orc, straight gaze at you and says, "Tell me now, did you bring that into our town?"
She looks him in the eye and says, "I did not bring ciphers into your town, sir. What I brought was a 40-pound sack of meat and the good intent to do some business with you. But I understand that it appears that we've worn out our welcome, and we are happy to leave before anyone on either side of this problem begins to shed blood."
"Oh, no, you've been spying out our town for 10 days with this friend of yours waiting for you to arrive. You're not leaving anywhere. I don't believe a word of it. I want to see those ciphers now." And he levels a finger straight at Diamondback.
I think she's going to make a intimidation check to try to say, "You're about to lose your life for a scrap of meaningless information." And she casts Create Bonfire between herself and him. And she's going to make an intimidation check to try to say, "You want to let us walk out of here before this gets ugly."
Go for it. Make your check.
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
Is there some way that I can join into his intimidation thing?
You can give it a
Just roll.
try.
Yeah, I just rolled an 18, and my intimidation is a +4, so that's a 22.
Okay. Yoshka, do you want to get involved?
Yeah. Well, as she's speaking, I'm going to be like, yeah!
Okay.
Intimidatingly.
Done.
Uh-huh. Weren't expecting that, were you?
And start humming and I'm going to start humming an intimidating tune to set the mood for for her intimidating them.
He gets out some glass bottles and starts clinking them together on his fingers, just wide-eyed staring at the guy.
Playing the wooden spoons.
That's right.
Flibbert is... Go ahead.
Diamondback falls, takes a few steps back. He says nothing. His head is like down. He's like looking at their the people who have confronted them with narrowed eyes, and he just backs up so that Celine is in between him and the other people.
The guards.
Yeah.
Flibbert is desperately intimidated. The little halfling, he's not anything anyway, but he scrambles around as soon as he sees that fire, which is bigger than him. He's a halfling, and he's startled, and he runs around behind the guards, but he's also kind of jumping around like a little imp and saying, "They're here to fight! They're here to fight!" Clearly, just stirring the pot. One of the guards, the human guards, is also significantly intimidated. Roll initiative.
All right. There's a low number.
18 for me.
Okay. Sorry, give me a second.
Do you guys want to I think there's this thing on D&D Beyond where you can share your roles.
Mm-hmm.
In the campaign.
Do you guys care about that?
If we got that set up on the screen in the future, possibly.
Okay.
I can work on that sometime soon. Give me 1 second, and I need to. Sorry, I don't know how to do this with the thing. Basically, the intimidated guard, since I don't know the mechanics of this, the intimidated guard is going to miss his first round of combat.
Okay.
Flibbert is, or the first round of whatever's happening. Flibbert is not involved in the combat at this point. You got Diamondback. What was your initiative?
18, right? Matt?
18, yes, sorry.
I'm trying to figure out. Oh, sorry. Maybe I have to leave that. Go back in. Run the encounter. Okay. Diamondback had 18. That's how I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Celine had
9.
Yoshka had
21.
That's a good one. And I'm going to auto roll for these guys. And one of them, I'm just going to skip their turn. Okay. Sounds good. Yoshka, you're first.
Okay. Well, so just to talk some stuff out with you real quick first that'll play into this.
Yeah.
I was planning on him having a quarterstaff as a weapon just because I figured that's something like a walking stick that he could probably find.
Yeah, not a problem. Hey,
Great.
Real quickly, by the way, Yoshka, sorry, I'll cut this in post, but Yoshka, I see that you have 9 hit points, but in my encounter, I don't see any hit points for you. Do Josh or Matt, do either of you know why?
In your encounter.
I'm using D&D Beyond's little encounter manager.
I don't know anything about the encounter manager.
Okay.
It could be because his character is made, but it's not necessarily claimed or something like that.
Okay. Well, that's
yeah.
fine. I will manually just keep track of your hit points, and y'all can too, obviously. Diamondback.
Yeah, let's test it out after.
Yeah, we'll do it another time. And I've got... So basically, just to give you a full awareness of the situation, they are attempting to kill all of you. Couple of them were intimidated, a couple of them were expecting a fight, and they are tough looking. You should be aware that you're fighting basically 2 half-orcs and 2 humans, and the town folk are not friendly to you right now because whoever's out in the street has heard that you are trying to destroy their peace. So you're in an awkward situation.
And say again where in the town we are? I'm still just not imagining that exactly.
Yeah, no problem. The front gate of the town, I'm going to describe the entire town from east to west. Sorry, not the entire town, the street from east to west, okay? On the far east is the gate where you entered.
Okay.
About 100-ish, 150 feet inward is where the men are, the 4 guards. They're blocking the entire road, so the gate is behind them. They are completely blocking the road. About 45 feet away from them is you guys standing at the entrance to Degros. And about another 150 feet behind you is the back wall of the town.
Okay. So there's only one gate in and out.
One gate, yeah, for safety, for town. Okay. The whole road is a straight line, and down the road, everything, is you. People have cleared out. It's a shootout at the OK Corral type of deal, and there you go. You have heard. I'm now putting it into canon. As soon as the bonfire started, people scrambled indoors. There are still a few people outside, but you have heard doors click, clack, bolts going, blocking things. Looks like there is not any friendly place. You won't be able to get into to Degros. The door, you heard it like crunch shut and bolt.
Okay.
Yoshka first.
Okay, and remind me of how the spells work. It's like I'm level 1. I can cast a level 2 spell at half power.
No. If you want to cast any spell, you need 1 plus the spell level to cast it. So in other words, to cast a level 1 spell, you need 2 of them. For every level...
2 of the components.
You need 2 different components. That's right. So not 2 of the same, 2 different. For every spell level that it's above you, you cast it, and then you have a 20% chance of failure. So if you're trying to cast a level 2 spell, you have an 80% chance that it'll work. If you're trying to cast a level 5 spell, you have a 20% chance that it'll work.
Okay.
So you're safest, and you're guaranteed that a spell your level or lower works.
You're not guaranteed that it'll hit.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Or that it'll do what you want it to.
It'll magic. There's also one other small thing to note, which is a spell that's off class for you has nerfed effect. Don't worry about that for now. I'll help you if we need to get into that. I'm going to give you one little quick bit of sidebar here that I'll cut in post, which is Aaron, Davina is you were inside Babarel's watching Yoshka's show, have followed them outside, and you're across the street but not very far. You're easily able to get to Yoshka within seconds. But you're kind of watching to see what unfolds, and now you're startled. You're seeing a brawl happening. And all of you guys can clearly see that the guards, which is not unusual at all, are wearing something like a bandolier, each one of them is, with components strapped to it, with ready-made spells that they can just chuck at you. Okay. So this is you're in a tough fight with 4 opponents. Go for it. Let's hear is Yoshka's turn first.
So I didn't initiative anything. Can I jump in on this?
You are not in initiative right now. You're not one of the combatants. Whenever you want, you can just do something and interject yourself into the battle. And when you do, if you do, that will be your part. I will assign you as initiative in that slot in the order.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not super familiar with these spells, so I'm trying to look them up.
That's okay.
I apologize.
We can help you too.
Okay. What do hideous laughter and vicious mockery do?
Hideous laughter causes the person it affects, if it works, to be able to start laughing uncontrollably, so much that they can't do anything else until the effect of the hideous laughter wears off. Vicious mockery is cruel taunting and mocking that causes them to be deflated and less effective in battle.
Okay.
It also does damage.
Oh, and damage. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a cantrip that does damage and also makes them not do as well on their next turn. Not much damage.
Okay. Let's see. Can I just tell you guys what I'm trying to do? And because I don't know like the numbers involved with any of these. My goal is going to be to try to just do some spell that stops one of them.
Go for it.
So that'd be hideous laughter, yeah.
Hideous laughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, hideous laughter would do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. It requires 2. So help me read this again. I use
a creature of your choice. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you have it requires 2 different components. You have one that you have highlighted, the flower of a rat bark lemon tree. Mm-hmm. And if you have another one of hideous laughter anywhere in there, then you can cast the spell.
Oh, I see. Okay, so number is the number required of the different things.
No,
so
number
right now,
number is how many you have.
Ah, okay.
You have 2 flowers of the rat bark lemon tree, but you don't have anything else that has hideous laughter on it.
Because I need the components is the number of this plus 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look,
so I can't do that.
So Robert has included a column for level.
Mm-hmm.
Level 0 spells you can cast with just one item that has that spell on it.
So
level 1
mockery
will take 2 of 2 different of a different kind if it's a level 1 spell. Level 2 spell will take 3 of all different kinds.
Okay, I'm not going to use magic. I'm just going to go up to well, okay. I guess you should. What I want to do is like take my walking stick, go up, trip one of the guys, and start running past him toward the gate.
So they're about 40 feet away from you, and
okay.
You can go 30 feet on your turn, so you can get 10 feet closer to them. I'm sorry, you can get 10 feet away from them, but you won't be in range this turn. A turn in combat lasts about 6 seconds.
Okay, and everybody has locked their doors. Dang it. Okay, so it's like, I guess I want to cast. Okay, I'm gonna take out a black winged bee, and cast True Strike on the toughest looking guy.
That is a good one. That's it. And you know what True Strike does?
Helps you hit it.
That's right. Next time.
Really?
Does it help you hit him better or hurt him more or something?
You point a finger at the target in range. Your magic grants you a brief insight into their defenses. On your next turn, you have advantage on your first attack roll against them, as long as the spell hasn't ended. Does that make sense?
Just me or
just you? It'll help you next time. Okay. Basically, you point a finger at him, you give him the stink eye, and you go, "Ooh, I know he's got a bum leg," or whatever.
Okay.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yep.
All right. So you grab, I'll narrate it for you just to whatever. You grab out of your component pouch, leg of a black-winged bee. You crush it in your fingers and a poof of swirling black mist comes out of your fingers. As soon as it does, your finger, which has turned black, you level straight at one of the half-orcs, and that blackness kind of really quickly darts and slithers towards him. Hits him right in the center of the forehead, though he doesn't seem to notice. Probably only you can see it. And you have a keen insight in this particular case that this guy doesn't see very well on the left side. Next time, on your next attack, you will be able to take advantage of that, and you'll have advantage in the combat when you strike if you hit him with something that you can hit with. Okay, now it is Diamondback's turn.
What Diamondback really wants to do
Sorry, and
is
Aaron, you should jump in anytime you want. It's not too. It's never too soon at this point.
Okay. All right. I do
Diamondback-
want.
Okay, wait.
I am going to jump in
wait
right
for
now.
Diamondback, and then you do it right after Diamondback.
Okay.
Diamondback is going to yeah, so what Diamondback is going to do is he's going to take a fang of the white-scaled adder, and he's going to combine it with an one wing of an orange-legged ant. And he's going to cast the spell Fairy Fire. And how many of the ones that are not intimidated can I fit in a 20-foot cube? 2 of them, hopefully.
Yeah, you can get 2 of the not intimidated and 1 of the intimidated.
Sure. Yeah. So
And Flipper.
So I should let you know also that Fairy Fire is not in my class.
Okay.
It's not a wizard spell.
No
But
problem.
so each object in a 20-foot cube within range is outlined in blue, green, or violet light, and it's going to be just blue.
Good.
Blue light goes all around them.
I would recommend, as an aside, never to use green because the forest gives an ambient green light all the time. The canopy. So
Sure.
Go ahead.
But they need to make dexterity saving throws. So that's a 12 is the DC of that.
Okie dokie. 1 second here. I don't have... Okay, I'll do that manually. That is fine. Sorry, I am doing it. Okay. And
I would like to say something as well,
Okay, that's totally fine.
as
long
while
as
I'm
it's
doing
not a
this
long
or
soliloquy.
afterwards.
Go for it. Why don't you say now, and I'm going to roll that for each of them.
Well, I want to see if it actually hits any of them.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what was the DC on that?
12.
Okay, so we're going to do, you got this guy who got a 19. You got guard this guy who got an 18. Guard this guy who got a 6.
All right, so that one has got is out. That creature guard is outlined in blue light. There's like a fey blue light that outlines that one.
Yep.
And for the next minute, that's going to be hanging around them like eerie St. Elmo's fire. I don't know if anybody in this town is familiar with this spell, but what I say, I sort of say this loudly so that everybody can hear, is
Uh-oh.
I bet it was a really good line too.
It sounds like it.
So while we're waiting for that, I'll just let you guys know that the light is dimmer than one would expect because it's off class for him, and it lasts actually for 30 seconds instead of 1 minute because it's off class.
still 5 rounds.
Yeah.
But if you attack them, you will have advantage as long as you can see them.
Matt, we did not hear your awesome line because you froze.
Oh, sorry. What I said was, do you see that light? It indicates which of them will die first if they choose to attack us.
Nice.
Okay.
But I say this
That
so
was a
that
good line.
they and everybody else can hear it, and I'm hoping that I might get to make an intimidation check, although that would be a little bit much, but that some of them might be scared and decide to run away.
I am okay with you making an intimidation check, but it'll have to be pretty high DC.
All right, here you go. 16.
You're under. Okay, They are combat, and they're combat ready. Davina,
Okay.
let's hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Why don't you give a little
to
bit of
the
background to Aaron about your motivations for why you're going to do what you're about to do, and also how you know Yoshka.
Okay. So, first awareness they have of my possible existence is there suddenly a fog appears in between their little party and the guard party. This is because, unbeknownst to them, I've used one eye of a red-throated thrush and one what do we got here? Where'd you go? One ichor of a frostload giant fire beetle and put fog there. And then I've dashed out from the side of Barbarel's, and I just run straight up to Yoshki, and I grab his arm, and I yank it while, like, hostily whispering, "Come on, I can get us out!" I don't care about these other two at all. I'm not grabbing them. I'm only grabbing Yoshki.
Now, let me give a quick narrative for that, for the action of casting the spell.
Yeah, what do I see?
Sorry, say it again. Oh,
what do I see?
Here's what you see. She says she cast fog cloud. She used a little bit of ichor from a frost-legged giant fire beetle, as well as the eye of a red-throated thrush, for those of you who are taking notes in the listening audience. She crushed them in her fingers, and what happened was the black mist that normally comes out of your, as Belvar has shown, the black mist that normally comes out of the components when you crush them, and it sublimates, it evaporates instantly, instead thickens into a grayish fog, and it rolls out of her fingers in a little thin tendril, taking only a few seconds, like 2 seconds or so. And it gets halfway between the soldiers and Diamondback. Diamondback, you don't see, and Sleen and Yoshka, you do not see Davina doing this druidess doing this. What you see is suddenly in the 40 feet between you and your opponents, a 20-foot radius sphere of fog starts swirling densely. The sphere, spreads around the corners of the buildings that it happens to be hitting, which includes Degro's place. It kind of comes over the eaves, and everything is heavily obscured. There's not enough wind right now to disperse it, and there's a thick fog. The next thing you see, the soldiers now are completely obscured from your sight. The next thing you see is this druidess who bolts over and grabs Yoshka, Yoshka being right next to the two of you, grabs Yoshka and pulls him a couple of feet, if he doesn't resist. We'll check that in a moment. Pulls him a couple of feet and says, "Aaron,
I can get us out. Come on."
Now, before we go any further, Yoshka, Davina, how do you know Yoshka?
Okay, so I'm new to the town, a little newer than Yoshka. My village, fishing village, was raised and washed down river only like a week ago, and so this was my town of safety. I met up with Yoshka, who was also a new person. We hit it off, and I was an apprentice to the master defensive architecture in the village. Clearly, that was insufficient because we were raided. But now I'm like as far as I know, everything I know is dead and gone, and I'm just looking to survive. But if I'm going to look to survive, I'm going to go to the safest places I can find and research everything I can about it. So I've been in this town for about 5 or 6 days, learning everything about how they are staying safe, because apparently they are when we weren't. So I know this town pretty well at this point. So when I say I can get us out, I have a plan.
You've been studying their palisades, their stockade, among other things, and you hit it off with Yoshka. You and he weren't like planning to leave, but it looks like the situation has gotten a bit more urgent. Mm-hmm. So that's the scenario. Sleen and Diamondback, you see this lady, this druidess, run up and grab Yoshka and pull him away. Now it is... and Jared, Yoshka, do you resist Sleen's pulling you? I'm sorry, do you resist Davina pulling you?
No.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going to let her pull you a good probably, let's call it 10 feet. Like she's kind of dragging you along. So instead of her full walking speed of 30, she's crossed the street and pulled you 10 feet back away from the gate. So now you're obscured by the fog cloud and you're 10 feet further away than Sleen and Diamondback. She's pulling you towards the back of the town.
Diamondback is behind Sleen, so Diamondback is like a little closer to her where they are.
It is now one of the half-orcs' turns. They are heavily obscured, which I did not expect. Great move, Aaron. What you see is a javelin that one of them was carrying is thrown through the fire. Somebody's going to do it based on their memory, which I was going to give disadvantage. They're going to try to hit the Sleen Diamondback pairing. Sleen being the primary target here because, she's... Flibbert has said that she's the ringleader. Disadvantage, man. I rolled a 20 and a 9. Does a 9 hit your armor, either one of you?
No, definitely not.
Okay. So the javelin whizzes about 4 feet from you. It's not super close, but it just sticks into the wood, into the side of Degro's little inn, and you did not expect that. Next, one of the soldiers who... Give me 1 second. You see... actually, you hear the sound of a spell going, and it sounds like motion. But you can't actually see anything happen. It does not seem to have any meaningful effect. It is now Sleen's turn.
What is the largest, nicest looking building in the village?
Probably Babarel's, which is across the street and a little bit behind you. It's pretty nice. It's a little inn where people come.
And after that?
There are just random places on this street that are probably like a store or, component shop or something like that.
So do any of them look like a kind of a city hall or a mayor's home? Like whoever runs the place, whoever's got the nicest house.
Yeah, they wouldn't be on this street. This is a commerce center.
Okay. In that case, I think she's just going to pick a place where a couple of buildings are basically adjacent to each other and maybe like bumped up against each other.
They're all attached.
They're all attached. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's going to say, I told you not to make a fight out of this. This is your last warning before I burn this to the ground. And a couple of the buildings catch fire, Barbarel's and one other.
Okay.
So there is now an active fire, at least a cubic meter in volume, that has set a couple of buildings ablaze.
Okie dokie.
And she's going to motion to Diamondback to follow the other two, and she's going to start moving in that direction.
All right. It is now... Well, it doesn't matter to you whose turn it is, but give me 1 second. Okay. You see one of the... Is this the right one? Yeah. You see one of the... Well, first of all, you hear some expletives of shock and surprise and, ire from townsfolk and other people around you now. Several of them have now joined in. They'll get turns at the end. They're much closer to you. One of the guards you see run... It was a 20-foot cloud, yeah. So he runs and runs out of the obscuring effect of the fog. So he's not closer to you, but he's come around at an angle. And he grabs off of his little spell bandolier a couple of spells, grabs it really fast. Now, some of the above your heads, a swirling fog, and he casts Call Lightning. He is not happy that you are not just fighting them, you're damaging the town. So a storm cloud in the shape of a cylinder about 10 feet tall and 60-foot radius appears in the trees, over the town, centered right above you. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. He makes the lightning slams down near you, and it is near enough. It's within 5 feet of that point. So it is going to be where Sleen and Diamondback are, but he cannot hit because Davina and Yoshka Davina pulled Yoshka a few feet away. It's going to hit right near Sleen and Diamondback. You need to make...
Sleen did use her movement to move where
right.
Yoshka and Diamondback are.
Okay, so it's actually going to be closer to... Sorry, where Davina and Yoshka are. It's actually going to be closer to Diamondback because that's where they were expecting you. He comes around the corner and does this thing. Diamondback, it's not. It's a 5-foot radius, so it's not going to hit the others. I need you to make a Dex saving throw.
Here comes.
Oh, that's our dude to do it. Don't worry, dude. He's like a cricket. He's like jumping and dodging everywhere.
I want to tell you a little story about how I rolled an 18 plus 3 is 21.
Like a ninja!
That's a great story and well told.
I like the pacing.
So this guy who you rolled a 21, that's great. So
I rolled a 21.
You succeeded on it. That means you roll 3d10 lightning damage and take half.
I roll it?
I can roll it for you. Sure. Either way is fine with me. I will roll it. Give me 1 sec. A d12. I need d10s. Here's one.
You can go on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, for various reasons, like the roll of it against my table. And you're going to take half that damage, which is 9 damage of lightning damage. I will let you know that the guy who cast this is not one of the strong ones. He is, one of the normal guys that was there. One of the 2 human guys does not look like the super tough one. These guys are not messing around, and they are strong. They're the town's defenses. I also will let you know that you are familiar enough with this spell that this storm cloud is going to last for 10 minutes, and he can move it and do this lightning at will for the next 10 minutes. I'm saying that so that you will know that you are in grave danger. And
yeah, Diamondback.
Act accordingly,
So
all of you.
I guess you guys are sort of running away, but I guess it's my turn next. So should it be my turn?
Actually,
or is it
it's
their
not your
turn?
There's a couple more guys. Basically, let's see.
So what you see is Diamondback like jumps out of the way, but like an extra tendril off the lightning bolt zaps him.
Yeah.
And he gets singed by it pretty badly.
Okay, and then give me 1 second. You see one of the soldiers. No, not one. You don't see it. You see that it looks like, the best of your ability to tell, there is a water tank in the town. And as the next guy goes, instead of attacking you, it appears that he has used a component that allows him to control water and splashes that water heavily, dousing the bonfire area. The part where it's caught the wood. Okay, now it is Diamondback's turn.
I am going to use the dash action.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I should say, you are still obscured from 3 of the 4 bad guys because of the cloud of fall.
Yeah, I'm going to move my full 60 feet at my full speed, which is using my action to move as well as my move to move in the direction that it looks like Davina is leading us. So I might actually get out ahead of her, but I'm trying to like go as far as I can in that direction.
Okay.
Which is 60 feet.
Okay. And that puts you we'll see about how it all ends up with you passing her, but you're basically now about 30, 40 feet from the back wall of the town, just to give everybody a look.
And as I pass them, I say,
I'm sorry.
Oh, go on.
I forgot. Yoshka was actually before Diamondback, but it doesn't matter the order at this point.
Yeah. Okay. As I pass them, they see that I'm limping and one of my legs has been burned really badly, and I say as I pass them, "Their magics are very powerful. We should flee."
Okay. Yoshka and Davina, I will let you all move as a unit. You can talk about it because you're kind of doing one thing together right now.
Okay, where are we going?
All eyes are on you, Davina.
Aaron, you're muted, I think.
There's a septic tank failure against the wall. If we don't mind swimming through sludge, we can get under the
Stockade.
under the wall.
So Tuesday. Got it.
And I think at this point we don't mind swimming through sludge. I think actually at this point we may want to stay in the sludge for a while, so all of the lightning strikes for the next 10 minutes are dissipated on the ground. Yep. So I'm taking us to go into a soft dirt
Septic
exit
puddle.
place. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless we think the strikes will stop at the edge of the village.
So before we get there, let's describe where that is. So against the wall, y'all are going to round the corner and make a left, and then only about 30 to 40 more feet is where this soft spot in the ground that they've been apparently trying to fix is. Davina and Yoshka, if you both use your dash actions, you will get there. Not this round, you'll almost get there this round, but next round you'll be able to get there and start start kind of wading through the sludge. Same for Sleen. Diamondback will get there next round because he, has already used his dash. So
sounds like a great plan to me.
Okay.
Is that what
I'm
you're gonna do?
dashing with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all run there. You both round the corner. Y'all had already been a few feet ahead. You both round the corner. You don't see any of the chaos behind you. And a few feet, at the wall, 20 feet in front of you, you see the patch that Davina is talking about. It is gross because it is, a little septic, terrible section that has some fresh soil on it that apparently they were trying to fix because it was undermining the wall's integrity. However, it's a way out at least, and the gate is totally blocked. Diamondback, you see where they're going. They've now passed you again. You see where they're going. Sleen, you also see where they're going. The orcs behind you do not know that you have dashed. I'm just taking their turns narratively right now. The orcs behind you do not know that you have dashed. One of them emerges around where the other guy was. Actually, all of them come around the side of that fog of cloud. They did not dash after you because they didn't know you were doing it. And so they are now a good 60, 40, almost 100 feet behind Diamondback and are not really close enough to use any of their stuff for you, but they're going to give chase. It is now Sleen's turn.
I think Sleen is going to use prestidigitation to try to throw her voice into the middle of the fog and say, "Get out there, you coward! Get out there, Diamondback!" And try to basically make it sound like she's in the middle of the fog. So I don't know if I need to make like a deception check or a performance check to do that.
Give me 1 second. You won't need to make any kind of check. I'm going to let them make a check because the spell just works. You do throw your voice. The question is...
Sure.
And I'm going to look. Let's see. The range on that is 10 feet. Yeah, it'll lower the DC because 10 feet's going to be basically not quite in the fog area. But from where... Because you ran towards Davina and Yoshka. But yeah, let me give you a DC for that. I mean, a roll for that. Wow. Actually, 3 of them. That was a 5, a 6, an 8, and a 14. 3 of them are reasonably tricked and kind of looking to try to understand what's happening in the fog. One of them, I will call it the one that actually could already see you, so he sees where you are, is not tricked.
Okay.
Do you want to use your movement at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's going to move away.
Go 30 feet towards where Davina and Yoshka.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So you're bringing up the rear right now. The soldiers move towards you. I'm going to move them forward on my map. There's the claw. So the soldiers move towards you. 3 of them actually don't move towards you. They come around and kind of are looking into the fog. The guy with the lightning storm sees you, and he moves his storm cloud. Give me 1 second, and I want to just see if there's a limit to the distance.
If I'm moving along the buildings, do I get cover?
If you are moving along the buildings, no, this is very open. It's intended to be open for easy sight of,
Sure.
people coming in. You can use your action to call down the same way, targeting the same point or a different. Okay, so he actually can't move the cloud. It was not stormy out here, but what he can do is target a different range within 120 feet. He will target to Sleen. Sleen,
Okay.
I need you to make a Dex saving throw.
Okay. Maybe. Nah. 9.
You do not. That does not work out well. I will roll your damage here. 1.
Well, it was fun, guys. It was fun while it lasted.
3d10 is intense.
That is intense.
It is a lethal number of 10s for me.
Failure is beautiful.
I actually rolled 2 2s and a 3. So
Wow.
well, I don't know how much that is. For 7 damage, how many hit points do you have?
Unreal. I have 1 left.
You have
I
one.
have 1 hit point left.
Failure is beautiful.
1.
Okay.
Oh my word.
Okay,
Fail.
so great. It is now the Davina Yoshka pair's turn to move.
Okay.
We're not there yet, right?
You're 20 feet away. You'll make it this turn with normal movement, and then you can use your action to kind of start getting under the thing. You're burrowing kind of like a dog through soft sand under a fence.
Yeah, I think at this point we don't know these other 2 well enough to detour that plan to go drag 2 injured people closer.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna. I think
Yeah.
Davina will just run and dig.
Yoshka too?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to let, just to tell you, the sand is soft, or the soil or whatever is soft. Davina's giving you good intel, and on the next round, you'll be sufficiently dug to have obscured yourself. You won't be through yet, but you'll be like in the muck under the big, heavy logs of the palisade, of the stockade wall. Diamondback, your turn. What are you going to do? You can reach it this turn as well. You can do the same as them.
I am going to do exactly the same as them, especially if I see them going to ground in a burrow is very snake-like, and I like it. And so I am definitely going to attempt to burrow in with them. Can I make a stealth check to be especially hidden? Or should I make an athletics check to dig hard? Or is there any way I can help out with my great deal of insight or investigation skill?
You have rounded the corner. You are already obscured from the view of everybody who would attack you. Only Sleen is visible to them right now. Remember, you went back to the back and turned a little bit of a left and then went 20 feet down. So you've turned onto that outer ring. What you can do, I will let you make an athletics check to attempt to dig extra vigorously. Or actually, I'll let you choose athletics or survival because you're in an adrenaline, state right now. You pick.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, my priority is not to be seen, but sure. Yeah, I can.
Sure. I'm okay with stealth too. It's just not factually urgent, but that doesn't mean you know that.
Sorry, Sir Robert.
Yeah.
There was something that I wanted to do on my turn, and I was so shocked that I didn't die that I didn't actually react, but I have a reaction for Hellish Rebuke, which means that this guy needs to make a DC 14 Dexterity saving throw.
Remind me what Hellish Rebuke is. Tell me what that is.
Hellish Rebuke is where when you've been hit, you can react with flames coming, from yourself, and they have to make a Dexterity saving throw or be hit.
Do you have the necessary components for that? Do you have Hellish Rebuke
I
components?
do.
Okay.
I do.
Then in that case,
and I have the ability. I have the ability, and I have the spell for it.
Okay, you have to do it with componentry. I will let you use the components for that. But,
I did.
Okay, great. Which ones were that? Just tell me. Just say before you say on the air.
It is a level 1 spell, and so it's the orange winged swallow and the gray backed mouse.
I'm looking at your component list, but I don't see those. Let's see.
It's these guys. They're lines 8 and 9.
I'm sorry. I was scrolled down a little too far. Yeah, I gotcha. I see it. Hellish Rebuke.
I just knocked them down the inventory for him.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that. And what is that? Let's see. That does
2d10. So.
Okay. He's going to make a Dex saving throw, which is. Let me give
DC 14.
This is the guy who did the lightning, right? Because he's the one who hit you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He got a 5.
Okay, so he's going to take the full brunt of a 10 and a 7. That's 17 points of damage.
He is complete. He just crumples to the ground.
Good.
At the same time
That'll give you
that
the ability
happens.
to get to us.
Sorry, say it again, Aaron.
I was saying that'll give him the ability, to get to us.
Yeah. At the same time that happens, you can. I don't know if you noticed this, but the townsfolk noticed the cloud above in the sky where the lightning came from begins to dissipate rapidly because it was his. He has been. He just crumples to the ground, and if you would guess, completely unconscious, if you could see it.
Wait, do we even know? Have we seen clouds? Or
Yeah.
do we think of it as a mist?
Yeah, it's a mist formulation. There are all kinds of forests in the jungle, including cloud forests. So a heavy localization. It's not like a mist covering everything. It's like a
thick
chunky mist of goo right there. Also, you've seen people cast spells like this before.
Chunky mist. If you'll look in the D&D dictionary under cloud, you'll see chunky mist.
That's right. It's in one of the source material. I can't remember.
Thick.
Okay, sounds good. That means that Diamondback.
Awesome.
Did you roll your stealth or whatever?
Yeah, here comes the stealth check. Oh, wow. Hey, 20. 20 plus 3
Yeah.
to try and get in there with Davina and Yoshka and mostly hide, but also help them dig if that'll help.
Davina and Yoshka are actually surprised because they dig forward, and what happened is they were so focused that you went beside Yoshka and started digging around and curving you were to his left, you started curving to the right, and what that did is just opened a little cavity in front of them. They fall forward and are surprised to find you ahead of them, having already dug. You were that stealthy.
Nice.
To get there. You're under the 3 foot, let's call it about 3 foot wide defensive structure. The tree above you, they're all lashed together, this kind of thing. And dirt has been thrown behind you. And you, because of your stealth roll, you actually managed to relatively well obscure the part of the soil that was disrupted. Probably it'll make it harder for the guards to tell, maybe harder for Sleen, although Sleen actually saw where you dove in. Okay, sounds good. The guards... no, you already had them do that. Sleen, your turn. The
Sleen
Hellish
is
Rebuke was
going...
part of your prior thing.
Sleen is going to use her movement to move towards the place where Diamondback just dove in. Does that get her there?
It gets you there, but you're not going to be able to get in this time because you didn't dash.
Okay, so she'll use her dash action to get there, and then she'll use her move. She'll use her action to take the dash action, and then she'll use her movement to try to move into that and try to get through.
That's what'll get you there.
Oh, doing both of them.
Yeah, they both dashed the last turn. You didn't dash. You did a whatever.
Gotcha.
So you're dashing this turn. That's fine.
Okay.
You are all four obscured from the view of the guys. The one who saw you, your Hellish Rebuke effectively neutralized. They're looking for you in the fog cloud, which is a great turn that I did not expect. Good job. Their turn, I'm going to say, let's see, I'm going to have them... one of them starts looking down the road, doesn't see you. Two of them are still rolled poorly and are still looking trying to figure out the fog thing. I'm going to have actually one of them cast... what was that spell that he had? Give me a second. It's called Gust or something.
Cry for mother.
So I'm going to like sort of elbow and nudge Yoshka and Davina, and I'm going to hold up in front of them some components, some components that would cast magic missile, and I say to them, "Be ready if we see one of them." And so I'm going to ready the spell magic missile for as if I see one of the guards through our hole, as if I get a glimpse of a guard, I want to cast the spell as a reaction.
Okay.
Face missile.
You all cannot.
And I'm hoping that they will do the same.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping we don't see anyone because I'm going to stay in this burrow until daybreak.
Davina and Yoshka, one of the things that y'all would know, that you should know, is there's a thing called holding an action, which is where you basically set a trigger. If this happens, I instantly get to do X, even if it's not my turn.
Okay.
So that's what that's what Matt just said he's doing. If I see a bad guy, I'm going to cast...
Hold an action for his face!
Yeah. The magic missile spell that he gave you, you would know, is a guaranteed hit. It's not super powerful. It's powerful, but it's not super powerful. But it's a guaranteed hit on your target.
If it looks like either of them don't have the components to cast magic missile, I will give them to them. But we have to negotiate that silently.
Yeah, and I will also tell you
in the dark.
This is something you actually. You know what? Give me a second. You do not see the thing, but remember, two of them were still looking in the fog cloud. You hear a kind of whooshing wind sound back down the road, like not a tornado, but like a strong gusting winds. Expecting that's probably some magic they're trying to use to dissipate the fog. So Diamondback held his action. Yoshka and Davina. What I want you to do, guys, Yoshka and Davina, is I have some sort of strategic information. I would like for each of you to roll me an insight check. I think is probably the right thing. No, actually, a survival check. Roll me a survival check, each of you.
Okay.
I got a 19 plus 4, 23.
Whoa, hey, you did it. Davina rolled 23. How did you do that? I got a 5.
I see the
plus
I see yours too, Jared. Okay, Davina, you have a really keen insight that if you guys are able to... If you stay under the wall here, it's less safe from the guards. You're in a risky spot because it's less safe from the guards, but you don't have to be where the potential animals are. But they're going to have, people are looking out windows and have seen where you're going. They're probably going to dig and find something and see some trace. So you'll have some interest in trying to get them to move forward out of the town. Remember that the thing that you're in is 3 feet wide, and you've got 3 bodies crushed in there, and Sleen may be coming soon. It's not going to be... You're muted, Aaron, but it's not going to be easy to... It's not going to be hard to see you. So that's your insight, and now you should both, Yoshka and Davina, take your actions.
Well, I guess we got to get out.
Yeah.
So keep digging.
Okay. On your actions, since it's, like I said, it's a 3-foot tunnel you're digging in soft ground. So you guys do have you emerge on the other side of the thing, on the other side of the wall, and there is jungle. This is not the front entrance to it, so there is jungle they've clear cut for maybe 30 feet or so, and there's jungle past you. You can definitely make it there if you were to dash out into the edge of the clearing. It's not going to be safe, but this is probably the safest. And probably if they were going to chase you, they would have to go back down towards the gate, run all the way around the town, and pick the right direction to run in. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. These guys are going to move without you knowing what's happening. Sleen, it is your turn.
Sleen is going to use Sleen's going to use her turn to catch up with everybody outside of the gates and say, well, time to make a run for it. And she just takes off. Like, you can see that her skin is all cracked and bleeding, and she looks like she's been roasted within an inch of her life by this lightning bolt. She's like actively, she's actively wounded all over her whole body. But she just starts running. You see her kind of scan the forest real quick, and she makes a nature check. That's an 18 plus 4 is 22. And
Josh, you just narrated right past the whole process of like jumping into the hole and
you guys already have a tunnel.
Diamondback.
You've already got a tunnel.
So let the DM tell you whether you succeed in doing all that.
No, I'm okay with the general idea of it, actually. I will narrate a couple of quick things.
Sure.
Diamondback is actually in the tunnel, staying there at the moment because he's holding his action to be defensive. Yeah. He's bringing up the rear. That means that he's sort of, blocking, but he's not actually blocking it. He's not trying to block it. He does let Davina and Yoshka, easily get around him. They don't take his offer of the magic missile componentry. Maybe they don't know exactly what it would do or anything, but they make it through onto the other side. Sleen, you are right there at the tunnel. Diamondback, as I mentioned, had somewhat obscured. He's filled in a little bit of this side of the tunnel because of his stealth action, but you saw where they were. You dive in and are just, you're torn up. You're in bad shape, but, you're still walking, which is great. You're running or whatever. You definitely use your action. I'm guessing you use your action to get through the tunnel, right?
I've got move speed to get through the tunnel. Okay, so great. She's going to use her movement to get through.
So that sounds good. And you get through, and to Diamondback's deeply conflicted kind of pain and delight, you have to really squeeze by him. He being, what do you say?
While she's going by, she says, "Don't worry, I took out the wizard. No big deal."
You're 17, right, Diamondback? Years old.
Oh yes, I'm very young.
Yeah, 16.
The close quarters are very uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, they get a little bit more comfortable as Sleen goes by, and then they return to uncomfortable. Y'all are in tight quarters. You find her very attractive, but she does manage to get out. You're holding your position there as effectively now the rear guard of this would-be party. Josh,
but as soon as it's my turn, I'm going to follow.
Okay. So if since she's used her movement on that, she'd like to use her action to make a nature check. 18 plus 4 is 24 to try to figure out what's a good direction into the woods to run.
Okay. Before you do that, I'd like for you to make a survival check for me.
Oh, okay, sure. Not great. That's a 6 plus 4 is 10.
Nothing unusual occurs to you. Diamondback, awesome. I would also like you to make a survival check. You're the two who are in the tunnel.
We're looking at a 17 plus 2 is 19.
Okay. It definitely occurs to you, Diamondback, that now that everybody's through, it would be not a bad move to pack some soil back in behind you on this cesspool, swampy, garbagey, gross area. Remember, y'all have just gone through sewage-filled soil. And, you can see that it would be reasonable to try to obscure that behind you so they don't try to follow you, although it is disgusting. And you all threw up at least a little bit in your mouths, maybe.
I will definitely do that.
Okay. On your turn, you can take that into account. Sleen, you do emerge from the other side. Now you may make whatever check that you wanted to do.
Nature check to try to pick a good direction into the woods into which to charge.
Okay, and you rolled a what?
24.
Okay. The jungle looks jungly, but what looks like probably the best direction for you is the direction that Yoshka and Davina have just disappeared into, because you are very near death. Neither of them seems hurt at all, and survival in the jungle is hard.
Sure.
So you bolt in their direction. It is now, there's chaos still from the inside of the town, but it is now Diamondback's turn.
So, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I can to obscure that we came through this way, as long as it doesn't take, like, a whole lot of time.
Roll me a stealth check. No, you're going to use your hands and feet and just shove some dirt.
Awesome, great. Yeah, here's a stealth check of 15 plus 3 is 18.
You do a pretty good job. You're happy with it, and it's a good job.
Hey, you just
I'm going to follow the others out of the hole and just follow Sleen.
Sounds good. And Yoshka, what did you say? Josh, Jared, what did you say?
No, nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of narrative here. It is 9:20. So basically, you all get through there, and Diamondback, you're pulling up the rear as you have packed this disgusting soil in there. You make it all the way to the edge of the forest, which is about where these other guys were. Davina and Yoshka, you're out of initiative now. Right? Everybody's out of initiative. There is chaos in the town. I'll wait for Josh, then I'll cut it in post. Josh, I was just narrating. It's 9:20, so we'll do our break in just a minute. You did a great job. You escaped. Y'all are hurt significantly. You're out of initiative. All of you have gotten under the gate and are out. You've made it to the edge of the jungle. Davina and Yoshka are not especially waiting for you guys, but they don't seem to be also trying to evade you. They're just running for their lives. Sleen is probably about, not too far, but like 30 feet behind them. Diamondback is about 15 feet behind Sleen, and y'all are running into the forest. It is currently a couple of hours until dark. Y'all are running into the jungle. It's a couple of hours till dark. This is where we're going to stop for tonight. You are all, at least in the back of your mind, aware that the situation has grown somewhat dire. You got here in the early afternoon. You spent a few hours. You at least got a meal. I'm actually willing to give anybody who wanted it, if you didn't, a short rest prior to the action. Wouldn't affect anything here. I don't know if that affects anything for you or not. You are in the jungle. We are going to pick up in the next episode, which is right after this break. We're going to pick up in the next episode to see how you all managed to do out in the jungle in the midst of the dying of the light.
And how many experience points do we get for practically defeating a villain?
That's a great question. You actually did take out one of the guards, and you intimidated a couple of them. And
It sounds so wimpy when you say that.
What's that?
Hey, are we... Sorry, are we on
saying-
break?
We're about to be on break. I was going to do...
Oh, sorry.
That's right. I was going to do experience real quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it's more than 40, I level.
Yeah, you get...
39 XP.
The guard that you took out, and you got a little bit of negotiation. I'm gonna do it as group experience. I'm not gonna do like each person, you negotiated, blah blah blah. I'm gonna do it all together.
Right.
And you took out that guard. You intimidated and fairy fired. I'm gonna give you partial credit for those. And so your total is...
Josh, you did all the fighting.
No, I did some fighting too.
You did?
I mean, no, my spell probably wore off after 30 seconds without having done any actual damage. But the guy that got fairy fired was probably pretty scared.
I gave you 150
That's a good
experience.
point.
Nice.
Together, each of you gets 37.5.
Oh my gosh. You
Sorry, man.
I don't know.
I just,
monster.
I just did the real deal.
You're a monster. You won't give me 2 points for single-handedly holding down the
I'm gonna-
two
I'm gonna
points.
tell
How
you
about
what-
this? How about role play? Can I get 2 points for role play?
I'm going to tell you that every
For being
single one of
into
your
my
teachers
character?
ever always told you, I don't give experience, you earn it. All right.
Did I earn any experience through role play?
You got 37.5. 38 is what that is. Because we
All
round
of
up.
38?
My rule is you round
Nice.
up on a partial, on anything we round up.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
So we're going to end the episode here. I'm going to do another little closing bit for the nice audio for us. But basically, you are now in the jungle. We will pick up next time with them hopefully evading their captors. Not their captors. Hopefully evading the town guard of the town of Garada. We will see how they fare. They've got a couple of hours until dark as they run and sprint through this jungle in the midst of the dying of the light.
Moral of the story.
1. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich, compelling stories in a fictional world that we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective as well as the stories we're telling at thestarfallcollective.com. We're back with episode 6. Let's find out who's in this episode. I am Sir Robert Burbridge, a father and entrepreneur, and I'm the host of this season's story. With me tonight are a few friends playing the characters in this drama. Please say your name, something about yourself if you like, and a brief description of the character you're playing. We will start with Josh, who is at the top of your screen next to me.
Hello, I'm Josh, and I play Sleen, the female tiefling warlock, who is barely alive in spite of the DM's best efforts to keep me nearly dead and as close to level 0 as possible.
From there, why don't we go to Belvari, who is Dwight.
Oh, hi, I'm Belvari.
Great.
What's your class and race and description,
sorry.
physical appearance?
I am a human, and I am a druid.
He likes long walks on the beach.
And I am nondescriptly shaped.
Fair. He's an amorphous druid. Diamondback, why don't you go next, Matt?
Hi, my name is Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, TALAMINI.com. I play Diamondback, a snake-tattooed, shirtless wizard.
Okay, and after Matt, why don't we do Jared?
I'm playing Yoshka, who is a big, kind of thick, human, wayfaring bard. So kind of like a gypsy.
And Aaron? Aaron Joy?
Aaron Joy. I'm playing Davina, human, 22, would-be architect.
Okay. Great, let's get started. Previously, we saw that these guys got into a bit of a scuffle in town. Things came to fisticuffs because Diamondback let slip that he knows he's wise in the ways of ciphering, of writing and reading, apparently. He showed some of that in the town, got him in trouble, and when they least expected it, a posse came of townsfolk guards to string them up, more or less. Not actually string them up, but they've gotten severely injured. Diamondback is limping and in a bad way. He, however, is a paragon of health compared to Sleen, who conducted a lightning bolt's worth of electricity through her body, and as fate would have it, when I rolled for her damage,
Much to the Dungeon Master's chagrin.
on 3d10, I rolled 2 2s and a 3, which is amazing. She survived with 1 hit point, apparently. Is that right? 1 hit point? 1 hit point.
This is correct.
And there we go. Davina and Yoshka, friends in the town with each other who just met Diamondback and Sleen, have tried to... basically got caught up in the fight and are just trying to flee to survive. They are now running. They've escaped from the town, running into the jungle. It's a couple of hours until nightfall. It is twilight already. Sleen is chasing right behind them, not chasing them, but running right behind them, and Diamondback bringing up the rear. They have successfully obscured their egress from the town. The townsfolk are dealing with a fire that Sleen caused. They are pretty sure, or at least they should be, that they will not be welcomed back to the town of Garoda ever. Maybe
Yes.
not even to the near vicinity. So we pick up at this time o' day.
All of our Subway sandwich cards for that particular town are null and void, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right. It's a good thing you finished your business. You sold your meat and stuff back there because you couldn't have done it tomorrow. Great. Let's get into the action. You are now in the forest. I strongly recommend, as your advocate in this world, that you do not try to camp right outside of town. That seems like probably a foolish choice. However, you only have 2 hours until dark, and it will be black. You know that. It'll be pitch black. And you're in a dire situation here because you're hurt, you're wounded, you need to get a little bit of distance, and you also preferably would find shelter. So, go. I'll let actually Davina and Yoshka take the lead in this because you are literally in the lead, and also because you are the two who seem to be being followed by Celine and Diamondback, who are in greater need. Yoshka and Davina?
You're muted, Aaron.
Darn it. I'm inclined to try and wait for these two or go catch up with them or something because I'm new in these parts. I'm not familiar with this territory. I just lost every human and orc friend I've ever had, and the more people to help me live in this world, the better.
And you just
Plus,
lost
I have some
everybody
healing
for the
things.
second time in a week, right?
Yeah.
It's been this many days since we lost all human connection. That all the numbers went back to 0.
So
Okay.
what was the last thing you said, Aaron?
Oh, I also have some healing stuff and something of a soft heart. I don't want them to die in my vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to help me. I want them to stay alive. I want us to be a new little family because I'm desperate for family, and I've got healing things that can help.
That sounds good. Yoshka, are you up for sticking with Davina as she basically slows down and lets them catch up?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'll let you do. In this hour, you're going to have to pick basically what you're going to do. Our typical thing that you can do for 1 hour in the wilderness is you can try to move, you cover ground. That's no problem. You can search for components, just as a kind of hey, let's get some components. Try to find some interesting plants or animals. You can search for shelter, noting that if you search for shelter in this immediate area, the townsfolk will likely find you. You want to probably move at least for an hour, making it harder to find. I will let you, in any of those three, I will let you spend a little bit of your time casting some spells. Davina, you mentioned having a little bit of ability to have some curative power. That will make whatever other actions you take for this hour, the difficulty classes will go up just a little bit. If you take a little bit of time to regroup and spend 20 minutes healing, the remaining 40 minutes you have is harder to cover an hour's worth of territory. Okay, so let's, again, by the magic of narrative, let's say that Davina and Yoshka have gotten, a few hundred feet into the woods. You're very obscured, and you wait for the couple of minutes, not very long, it takes for Celine and Diamondback to limp and slither their ways to you.
Well, that'll give me enough time to prepare my leaf of a grim wood chokeberry tree and my wood of a pig leaf fig tree. One of each, that's for cure wounds. I'm willing to use one of each for each of these guys.
Why don't you talk to them and act that out? Let's see how that negotiation, or that, not negotiation,
So-
let's see how that goes.
I think Celine comes stumbling out, just kind of barely upright, and sees the two of you, and since you're probably more actively looking all nurtury and kind, probably just collapses against your chest and is just like, I think we're gonna be friends. And she kind of taps you on and then she just kind of passes out in your arms.
At which point I can't hold her because this is a whole human and I am a 22-year-old person unable to hold up a whole human. So plop on the ground.
Try to keep her from hitting her head.
I'm sure.
Okay. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'll have,
I don't want more
just-
damage, so I
otherwise
just
I'll have
can't hold
Celine
her
roll
up.
for damage. I'm just kidding.
No.
I was gonna say Celine is still conscious. She's just kind of
Okay.
giving up on
Okay.
maybe she comes slumping to the ground and she's now sitting kind of half on your feet, leaned back against you, and it's just like, forgive me, friends. Just hang on. Oh my. Just. She's out of breath and bleeding everywhere.
And at this point, Diamondback, who has not lost sight of you, has now caught up to you. Diamondback?
Meanwhile,
Diamondback is there. He stands near you.
I'm gonna look to him and say, we need to get out of this place. Let's take a little bit to heal your friend, and then I don't know if this would help. And I'll offer him my red flower avocado tree wood. I understand this can be used for making shelter, but I don't have enough. Is it useful to you for doing tiny hut?
I'm sorry. I also don't have any magics that can help with that spell.
So just to let the audience know, Tiny Hut is a level 3 spell, so they need this component plus 3 others to effectively cast it.
Okay.
I have nothing that can be to our aid here. I think we need to move on. We need to be as far away from the town as possible, as soon as possible.
You see Celine, she's just like...
Sorry, Diamondback is hurt badly, but not as bad
You
as
can
Celine.
see. You can see
Celine's like,
Diamondback.
orange slices. I need orange slices.
Orange slices?
like halftime during soccer.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Well,
So this nearly passed out Celine, I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to take action and use my things on her.
So
And then we'll think about Diamondback.
So tell me what you're going to use, and I'll give a quick narrative of how it works.
All right. I'm aiming for Cure Wounds. I'm going to use one of my 3 leaves of a Grimwood chokeberry tree and one of my 4 woods of a pigleaf fig tree.
Okay, go ahead and decrement the number on those by 1 each.
They'll do.
Now, so what you see, this druidess that you don't know, Celine or Diamondback, Yoshka knows her a bit more. You see her pull out these 2 components. You are not familiar with these components, but you get how this all works. And rather than like you're used to, for example, Diamondback crushing them in your fingers to do some kind of combat, she actually takes both of them and rubs them in her hands really rapidly, causing them to, again, do that familiar poof. But her hands are almost like she, pressed them onto an ink pad or something. She's got these black, the black of the mist, the magical black that rolls through the forest all the time, this magic heaviness, is almost like a handprint on her. The way that this Cure Wounds works is any creature that Davina were to touch next regains some of their health by the magic of this power. It's in her right now until she touches, and she'll lay her hand. So, Davina, who do you touch? Either Diamondback or Celine? Or
The one who's lying on my lap and who just said we were friends.
So she takes her hand, she has that black on it, and she presses it gently on the side of Celine's head. And when she lifts her hand, the black handprint stays on Celine's face and then sort of fades as though it being absorbed into her. Celine, take 1d8 worth. Actually, Aaron should roll. Take 1d8 of health.
7.
Nice.
Great.
So, I don't know. Actually, Mr. DM, tell me how this works. Diamondback sees the Cure Wounds spell happen, and I have a component that does that. And do I recognize it as the same spell?
Do you know? Sorry. You tell me from your background. Actually, you know what I want you to do?
The answer is, if it's based on my background, the answer is yes, definitely.
Okay, great. In that case, if you know what that spell is, and you have the component for it, then yeah, you can.
Yeah. So Davina, Diamondback, seeing what you did, he opens up his component pouch, and he very quickly pulls out a paper wrapped packet, and he limps over to you, and maybe you see for the first time how grievously his leg is just destroyed by there's big gaping, oozing wound and charred flesh all over.
Electrical
And
burns.
He holds out to you a paper packet with two spiny tail or fur of a spiny tailed crocodile, and he says to you, and you will find those in the shared component pouch.
Okay.
If Sir Robert has shared that document with you,
I did.
that Google Doc.
Yep.
That's what he's holding out to you, and he says to you, "These are good for that same spell. I know from the lore of my village." And you also notice at that point that the paper that it's wrapped in is marked with a sigil, and you would probably figure out that this is what got them in trouble back at the village. And he says, "Please. I can't use it without other components. Do you think you would take these two and use one of them with one of yours?" And
Absolutely.
thank you.
So I'm going to use one of them, and I'm going to...
Copy those into your list. Yeah.
Did.
Okay. And Matt, delete them from your list, of course. Basically, Davina, feel free to narrate if you want, or I can narrate for you. But it's the same process, and go.
Yep, that's it. We do the same thing. Going to pick the thing to...
Yeah, while she's doing that,
There we are.
Davina
Okay.
does the same process, gets that same black fingerprint, handprint, and she this time, she says to Diamondback, "I'm going to have to touch your wound, and this is going to be a bit uncomfortable." And she puts her hand on it, and on the side of your leg, right above the knee, where there's like a really bad wound. Aaron, why don't you roll a d8 to see how many hit points he recovers?
8.
Wow. Good rolls. Great.
Thank you. That feels much better. If I could,
Sorry.
if I could ask your name, Enchantress.
Ha! It's Davina, and I'm no enchantress. I'm just good with my tools.
I think Celine looks up at Diamondback because she's facing Diamondback and Davina is, and so she's like very smooth. She's making like, "Oh yeah, good job."
To which Davina is oblivious.
Well, hey, as soon as
Diamondback.
you guys feel ready, let's keep going. We gotta
Yes,
we gotta
let's
get
go.
away from here and find a place to stay.
Well, I think I'm magically ready to do just that. Thank you. And she turns and bows to Davina. But I think she's going to do a... Can she make an insight check to see whether she notices the druidic energy, the aura? Can she make a druid check to try to read Davina's aura?
No,
One druid.
you need detect magic for that.
Dang it.
Okay, great. So here's how this is going to work. Y'all took a few minutes to do that. Let's say 10 minutes or so of the hour that you're going to be using for motion. What I want to have you do is one of you. Actually, you know what I'm going to do. Of the four of you, pick two of you to roll me some survival checks. One rolls a survival check, the other rolls a survival check, and that'll be that'll determine your progress this hour. So talk amongst
I have a
yourselves.
+2.
I have a +4.
How's your
Aaron?
survival, Davina? Oh, looks like we
I
lost
think
her.
she's frozen, but her survival is +4 as well.
Oh, so it's got to be her and Celine.
Celine and Davina, yeah.
Selena.
Girl power.
The
I
girls.
say to
Lavina.
Diamondback says to Yoshka, "These ladies seem much more competent in the forest than us." We should bow to their great expertise.
Now absorbing kicks directly from large horses.
While we're waiting,
That's all me.
while we're waiting, Josh, why don't you roll for Celine to help lead them through this jungle? Just to give you all a sense of this, you are heading basically west-northwest.
All right, 15.
Okay, 15.
I mean, basically any sort of situation where somebody's got to like really, really take it on the chin. I just throw elbows. I don't even question. I'm just like out of the way. That's my job.
All right. I'm just going to move us forward because it's 10:01. Davina, Celine just rolled a 15, or Josh just rolled a 15 for Celine. That's a passable for this. You basically go along and nothing. You're muted.
Sorry, I froze and was lost. What are we doing?
We're moving through the forest,
Okay.
through the jungle.
Just a shadow thin and slight.
That's right. Josh rolled a 15. With that is plenty. It's not good enough that anything spectacularly wonderful happens, but it's not bad enough that you have any kind of negative encounter. The four of you have agreed that both you, Davina, and Celine. Davina, you'll notice on your sheet that your survival is a +4 bonus.
Okay.
You two are the ladies here are the best at surviving in the wilderness, so you now have a turn to roll for this turn. So just roll your survival check. Tell me what the result is.
I lost my page.
Do you want me to roll it for you?
Yeah, would you mind? Also, how do I get back to my page?
D&D Beyond,
Uh-huh.
and then
Okay, I'll find my characters again and load them fresh.
Yeah, great. I just clicked your D&D Beyond thing.
Thank you.
Oh.
And I rolled a dun dun dun.
It was an 11. I thought it was a 1, but it was actually a 7, and then you're +4. You got an 11. Again, that's very middle tier. It's totally fine. I did make the brackets harder, but neither of that was low enough that you had an encounter. So y'all are in good shape. Okay. Now you are. You've made about a good 45 minutes progress away from the town. You're in good shape for that. What you have the option now of trying to make further progress out away from the risk of the town. You can search for 1 hour for a shelter, or you can search for components.
Shelter's our priority, right?
At least for me.
Yeah.
Let us seek shelter.
Someplace defensible. Yes.
All right.
Alrighty. Is that a perception check to try to find one?
I'd actually like for you to do. I'd like for all of you, each of you, I should say. I'm sorry. Each of you can do a. I'll do perception. You're gonna scour this area that you're in for about an hour.
Okay.
Looking for things.
Okay.
17.
Same.
Okay.
13.
All right. Yoshka.
Survival?
Perception.
10.
Okay. I think Diamondback had the highest, right?
Yep.
Okay, Diamondback. I'm pulling up my table here. Sorry about that. There it is. Okay, Diamondback. I would like for you to roll for me, please, a D100.
Ooh, that's fun. Okay. Come on, D10, regular D10. Here we go. We are looking at an 18.
Ouch.
Wow.
Great. The higher you roll on this, the more secure it is. You did the best of anybody. That's why you're rolling. You had the best check.
Yeah.
You did the best of anybody, and you found something that, if y'all did some work on it, it would be reasonably considered a clearing. It's more like an animal path. I would like for you. Oh, sorry. So that's your best. That's what you found for shelter for the night.
So if I tied with him for a 17, does that make any kind of difference?
Did you tie with him for a 17?
I did.
Okay. I didn't realize that. I thought you said something else, but I would have chosen one of you, or you could have chosen one of you.
Okay, that's fine. I figured that was... Yeah.
So
okay,
y'all are in a clearing, or y'all are in a kind of on an animal path, which is easier to sleep on than roots.
Do I realize that this is a miserable place?
You do, but when you got back to each other and discussed it, you found the best thing, and that's what you found.
Okay. I say, it seems that this area does not have any suitable locations for us to spend the night. Shall we move on? I say, actually, hold on just 1 second. Let me check and see if I can actually do this. Yeah. I say, I can create magical light that will help us search.
So around this time, the heavy black mist that, gray mist, I should say, that permeates everything it always kind of waxes in the evening and wanes at night and in the morning, and it is growing thick with the very familiar darkness of night. You need to make a choice. Are you going to try to, all of you together, are going to try to stay in this little sort of clearing, which is the best shelter you found, or are you going to try to make some forward progress in the night?
Diamondback is suggesting that he will use some components to cast the light spell, which will give them, hopefully, Mr. DM, an advantage in both moving into another area and looking for shelter in that area.
It absolutely will help you. If you do not have a light, you basically are not going to be able to go anywhere. You're just wandering around in a pitch black area.
Also, I have torches.
So torches will work. Light will work.
And I do have dark vision out to 60 feet.
Nobody has dark vision. The magic obscures it.
The magical mist. Right, I forgot about that. Yep.
At night, it gets really thick and heavy, and when the sun goes down, when the canopy darkens, the mist is thick, and nobody has dark vision.
So I mean, I can hand out some torches. I've got 10 torches as part of my starting equipment, and I can pass them out. And I offer torches to the group, and I say, we should continue searching. These will help.
Sleen looks to Yoshka and Davina, and kind of gives like a, yeah, I mean, I agree, but what do you guys think?
I'll nod.
Okay.
I'm willing. I'm not seeing anything around here that we can fortify this with.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to take 4 torches out of my inventory and light them and give them to us and make maybe more survival checks for the next hour. Each torch only burns for 1 hour.
Yeah. So
do we need 4? Can we just follow on 1? We don't want to. We don't want a big blazing. All monsters come here, please.
Yeah.
I will yield to your expertise in this matter.
I think Sleen will try to grab a couple of large, like elephant ear fronds or something like that, and try to, make something that will act as like a cowl over the torch, so that the torch, most of the light goes to the ground.
So, great. What we're going to do here, night rules are a little bit different. Y'all have not been alone in the jungle at night, or you haven't been out. You've been in sheltered. It's not crazy hard. It's similar to what we did before, but the DCs are much harder.
And now to finish what Sir Robert started in the village.
I didn't start it. Diamondback did. So what I want you to do is you're going to take turns, just like you did before. One of you gets to roll your initiative. Survival check, and that's going to be your encounter check for the first watch.
Ladies first.
You each get a turn for 3 of you. 3 of you have to do it, but you can't do the same one twice until everybody's gone. So it can't be Sleen, for example.
Sure. Sleen does not have to be told twice. She gives a very deep bow and blows a kiss to Yoshka and pulls out that bedroll that she's got from the orcs and lays down on it and gets comfy.
I'm sorry, I'm very confused.
We
In my
don't have a
mind-
place to stay yet, right?
In my mind, I told the DM that we were going to continue walking, searching for a better place to stay,
Oh, I thought
and
we
that I
found
was
one.
going to light a torch. Nobody narrated that we found one.
Sorry. Okay.
I think he was thinking the clearing. You were trying to light it up for camping there for the night. One of you needs to make a survival check for this watch. I had called it a watch, but I really mean this third of the night to see if you have an encounter. Celine or Davina, you have the highest survival roll, so I would say one of you two should probably. But you guys negotiate.
So we're
is this-
traveling and possibly fighting off something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that what you're doing? You're traveling.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. The first thing
Davina took the first
You're
check.
going to do your encounter check. Somebody roll.
I rolled
He did.
16 plus 4, 20.
Wow. Okay. You don't get an encounter, so you are able to keep going and look around. That's great. Roll your. Everybody roll your survival check during this time. Sorry, your perception checks, and we'll see if you find any good stuff.
20.
20.
Good. Because I got a
18.
9.
Jared. And Celine, what did you get, Josh?
I got a 9.
Okay.
And
12.
Yoshka got a
12.
12.
Okay, it's
With
Matt
the-
again. Roll me your shelter check, and it's harder at night. I have a different table.
And
You're talking
Jared,
about a.
go ahead.
Same
You're
check
talking
you
about a
did before.
D1.
D100.
Okay. 49.
Way better than 18.
It was way better than 18.
Crushing
You
it.
found basically a thicket of bramble. It's a little bit of protection. It is one step better than a clearing on the table.
Friends, this bush may provide some protection during the night. I suggest we crawl underneath of it, like miserable animals, and sleep until dawn. I'm sorry, I don't say dawn until first light.
The other option, of course, is that you can go further.
I'm willing. I am exhausted. It has been a day.
We have fled like birds. Now let us hide in the bushes with the birds.
Like miserable little birds. Celine looks at Diamondback and Yoshka like they're both crazy. It's like, yes, let's pretend. And then she crawls in and takes out her bedroll and offers the bedroll to Davina and says, as the person with the plan of egress from the town, I say you've definitely won the bedroll for the night.
Do I already have a bedroll?
It's usually part of your adventurer's kit starting out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to want to take it from a lady who just came back from the brink of death.
That's fair. I don't know how
Sir-
much of your stuff you grabbed on the way out.
Yeah,
Sir, did we
Yeah,
start
good
with
point.
like the standard equipment,
it's
or was
really-
it like
up-
refugee starter?
It was up to your
pack?
backstory. Neither Celine nor Diamondback had a bedroll because they were escaping with their lives. Okay,
So was I.
Yeah, I earned this the traditional way. I paid the iron price by murdering someone for it.
I apparently do have one.
There we go.
is somebody going to stay? Is somebody going to take watch? You have exactly one long rest worth of night left. You do not, because you did the first watch of looking for a new place. So, do you want to have everybody sleep? Two of you sleep? What's going to go there?
I'm sorry,
I-
somebody ought to take watch, but I need to sleep all night. I'm exhausted and wounded.
I will take watch.
Yeah, and
I
I
need to write a song about this
well,
day.
I'll join you, Yoshka, for the first part. We'll sort it out. Davina, get some rest, and we'll wake people up as need be.
Okay.
So Davina and Diamondback can start sleeping, and Yoshka and Celine can take first watch.
Do we
Sounds
need
good.
two people to take a watch? Because we've got
Uh,
2 watches left, right?
Yeah,
There are
I'd
two total.
like if everybody can at least get one good safe initial 4, or if the 2 people can get like a guaranteed 4-hour chunk, we can probably muddle our way through. But if the night gets ruined right away, that's going to be rough, just real rough. So I think it's worth it for 2 people.
Well, I
to
mean,
take the
one
first
thing to think of is a short rest does nothing for me. I've already used all of my hit dice.
Yeah,
Only a long rest. Only a long rest will help me at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to protect a long rest for him.
Okay.
Do you need a long rest, Josh?
I'm good. I'm good.
cool.
I'm full hit points. All 8 of them. Full up.
Nice.
Not too many to fill, so it's
All
not
right.
a problem. Not for me.
So,
Just take a little sip.
who's taking watch?
Done.
Who's taking watch?
I am Celine and Yoshka are.
Okay.
So if Yoshka helps me, or my perception's a +4. So, and Yoshka, if your perception is higher, then Celine will help you.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So
Sorry, dude. Celine's just a dangerously competent woman.
roll a regular roll. Like don't like no advantage or disadvantage. Just a regular roll.
Click. Oh, how about them apples? 23. Rolled it online.
What was your actual roll?
19 + 4.
I rolled. I don't know if y'all will be able to see that. Oh my. I rolled a 19 and a 20, and I had advantage, which is amazing. You do have an encounter.
Hopefully, the bush increases our armor class by a
I was
lot.
gonna say I did get it up to 23. So if it's contested,
No, y'all have an encounter. What I need now
Okay.
is it's a nighttime encounter. I need you to roll a. I have some made up, so if you roll a d4 for me, anybody.
I got a D4 right here. Boom, 3.
Okay.
I mean -1.
In the night, we are in our first encounter here. In the night, let me get. Oops, actually, I have to go out of this because I have to add. Davina to it.
When the night has come and the screams are loud and the suffering is the only thing you feel.
So here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you'll cry.
Josh, here's what's going to happen. Okay, let me narrate. It's the middle of the night. Y'all hear some rustling in the leaves. You don't think it's wind, but you hear it in the leaves generally above the thicket that you're in. And you hear it, off and on for 10, 15 minutes. You're trying to figure out what exactly is happening. It's not really intense, but it is, definitely after a while you realize, no, it's definitely a thing. Like there's something happening. I need you to, Yoshka and Celine, roll initiative, and I will then explain what happens.
Okay. I'm quite bad at this. That's an 8 for me.
Okay. Yoshka?
6.
Oof.
Wait, +2. 8.
8 for both of you.
Probably you're still going to go first because I have a -1 to dexterity.
And Diamondback and Davina, if you'll just roll initiative for me too, just because I don't know how to manage it on the side, but if you don't do it now.
8.
13.
And my dexterity is +3.
Wow.
So Diamondback, Yoshka, Celine.
And Davina, what do you have?
I have a 13, and I'm not sure why we need dexterity, but I've got a +2.
Only for tiebreakers.
Okay,
Oh.
sounds great. And 8 for him as well, which is interesting. Wow.
So
Okay.
it's a him.
Or it. I say him as a general. So yeah, the first thing you see is sliding down a thin strand from above you you see a large blue and white shape above you. It seems to have a number of legs. It comes down. It goes first and got a very good initiative. And so it does a surprise attack on Sleen again. And it's attacking Sleen.
Dagnabbit!
This
Peaches!
This creature drops down suddenly, grabs onto you, and it bites you to hit 5-foot creature. Hit. Okay, I see how that works. Does a 14 hit
Wait.
you? Sorry, go ahead.
So are we in the bush? I guess, did we get out of the bush to watch, or were we watching from the bush?
No, either way, you're in the thicket, the little bit you're in. This creature drops down onto the top of it, and it has a lot of legs, and it pulls apart and just reaches in and grabs something it saw moving, which is Sleen. This thing is a very, very large spider. Does a 14 hit you, Sleen?
Yeah, I don't have any armor, so that hits me.
Okay. It does...
We're kind of laying down, too, so I don't imagine, like, dexterity plays in a lot.
It does 9 damage, piercing damage, and you have to... Wait, does that...
Yeah, I have 8 hit points, so I'm unconscious.
Okay, and make a DC 11 con saving throw.
Oof. Okay. That's a 15.
Okay, that's good. That means you take only 15 more poison damage. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Right.
8 more poison damage.
Okay, so that means that I immediately take 2 failures because I took damage.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what's your max hit points, actually?
8?
Yeah, so if we're following the rules as written, Sleen's body is destroyed beyond recovery. He has gone below his max hit points in negative hit points. He had -2 and he took 8 more, right?
So I'm at -10, so I'm beyond my max positive hit points.
So what does that mean?
He's instantly slain. No healing or medicine check can help him. He has to be brought back from the dead. He's dead. If we're following the rules as written.
We are following the rules as written. This spider comes down and just grabs Sleen, bites into her, I should say, grabs it, and Sleen falls limp. The spider, I guess, I did not expect that to go that quickly. The spider immediately uses 2 of its legs, wraps up Sleen, and just ascends back out. And it has taken Sleen from the party. Yoshka, you did not have a chance to do anything yet. It has gotten the food it was looking for.
Dwight!
Yeah. So the just so that our listeners will understand what the rule is that just happened, from the player's basic rules, there's a subheading that says damage at 0 hit points. If you take any damage while you have 0 hit points, you suffer a death saving throw failure. If the damage is from a critical hit, you suffer 2 failures instead. That's what Josh thought he was doing. But then if the damage equals or exceeds your hit point maximum, you suffer instant death. 8 was his hit point maximum. He suffered 8 hit points of damage. It's instant death.
Wow. And so what happened on my side is I rolled a 1d10 plus 2. That was the 9 damage. It was a very high roll. And then the next one was the poison damage that the spider does. And it was a 4d8, but he took half damage. But it happened to be, I rolled a 15, divided by 2 is 7.5. The rules round up.
But the spider leaves and disappears?
The spider was just going for food. The way the encounter was, I was going to do it was, if one of you did die, it would leave. If it didn't, you would have to fight it. So it just left and got its food. You wake up in the morning. Maybe Yoshka wakes you up. He's startled. I'll let you, Yoshka, say what you want to do. But basically, in moments, Sleen is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you do, Yoshka?
Write a new song.
I'm gonna. I'm tempted to lay down and go to sleep, but that seems like a really bad idea. Well, I guess I'm just gonna sit there and think for a little bit. Just kind of like
cope with
looking
the
at
shock.
the hole in the bush, and then looking over at the other two sleeping people, and just like putting my hands in my head, like,
This world is awful.
Okay. That passes the night that your watch passes, Yoshka. You know that Diamondback needs to get a full night's sleep. You can wake up Davina if you want. She was not necessarily needing that. In the second watch, one of the rules I have is when you have a deadly encounter at night, I'm just telling you this, when you have a deadly encounter at night, regardless of the outcome, you're not going to have another one the same night, unless you go traipsing through the jungle, like running around and stuff. So
You probably should wake me up because we don't want to travel a whole day with you on zero sleep.
I think he was thinking.
yeah, I guess so.
Going to sleep.
Tonight's Hilton Express Quality Rest brought to you by The Death of Sleen. When you need to get a good night's rest, just kill a party member.
actually, it's
Welcome
actually,
to Hilton Express.
It's actually not, just to say for the listening audience, it's not because Celine died. It's because you had a deadly encounter. Deadly is a technical word meaning how hard the encounter was. So you just wouldn't have another encounter because you had a deadly one. If it was an easy encounter, you might have another easy. You could have another encounter. Celine dying was an interesting accident. I mean, it's how it goes. Okay, so Yoshka wakes up Davina and they talk through. I'm going to narrate just in the interest of time for us. And in the morning, the next 4 hours pass. Maybe Yoshka, tries to sleep. He's probably a little fitful. They wake up Diamondback, and
Wait, when do they wake me up?
in the morning,
Do I get a long rest?
you did get a long rest. You wake
Very
up
good.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to hit the jungle with your 3 best friends.
2 best friends.
Okay, here's what I want you to do now. One more thing for me. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We are going to end our episode here. Sorry, Bilvari. I thought we were going to have another day, but we are going to end the episode here. What happened? Let's do a quick recap, and we will deal with this next week.
So at this point in the narration, did Diamondback find out about Celine's death yet?
Actually, yeah. Why don't we have Yoshka, Davina, and Diamondback talk it out for a few minutes, and then we'll end the episode.
Okay.
That's a great point. Thank you, Josh. So, Davina...
I don't know. That could be a hilarious thing to open back up on, but Yoshka's had all night to sit there and think about what he's going to say.
Sure.
Anyway, it's up to you guys, however you want to do it.
Yeah, however, actually, I want to know how you want to do it. I'm happy to do it next episode or this one, if y'all need to process first.
I would probably just stutter something to her I don't know. I probably wouldn't even wake her up for a watch.
Okay.
I would probably just let her sleep and just be stunned all night.
Let's
And then in
end
the
here.
morning they would wake up.
Okay.
Let's end
So
here.
remember,
then.
Spleen is this random stranger who happened to escape from the place with you. Like you've known her for
Days.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they shared quite a few moments. Yeah, there were some real moments there.
Yoshka knew Davina for a few days. They got along really well in the town. Diamondback's the random stranger, and as Dwight was saying, Sleen is just this weird chaos tiefling person that they met, who seemed to be likable and everything, but is now no longer. Well,
But we're definitely aware we owe her our lives for the escape from the village.
yeah. So that's where we'll end this episode. Thanks everybody for listening. You can get more details about this world and the story we're telling at the starfallcollective.com. We will pick up next time with it being mid-watch. Yoshka has just watched Sleen. He doesn't even necessarily know what happened. He saw the legs of this giant spidery thing break through the thicket, bite, wrap up in some silk and go within seconds. And this charming tiefling is out of their lives as far as he can tell. She was just decimated. We will return with Yoshka finishing his watch, deciding whether he'll wake up Davina for her scheduled watch, and then we'll figure out what they do as morning rolls around and it's time for Diamondback and them to continue. Thanks for watching The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective.